Johnny Countdown time, where we cover some of the top trending stories of the week. And this week, we are heading on over to Disneyland, where we are looking at some big news. It looks like Soarin' Over California. Well, it's returning. If you're a fan of that classic original version of Soarin', it's coming back February the 28th for a limited run during the Food and Wine Festival at Disney California Adventure Park. Certainly Soarin' Over the World, one of those attractions that I think on paper sounded amazing and everybody was super amped up about and very, very thrilled to bring into existence. And then the delivery doesn't seem to have attracted all those, people that they had anticipated. You guys looking forward to California coming back?
Yeah. Can we get an applause that it's actually coming back? It needs to stay. Thank you.
There we are. Yes, keep it around.
I don't like Soarin' Over the World. In theory, it sounded great, but then when you actually see it, it looks very fake. It doesn't really seem real. Then you get California. You're in Disney California Adventure, so I think they should have a ride that goes over California, so for people can actually see what California is like, because it's not all the same. We have a huge state, and the state has all these different features. So again, I always get emotional when you go through the desert, and then all of a sudden you see a jet pass by, and you're just like, wait, what? And then and then it goes over in San Diego, and it's just things so beautiful, how they honor the military, or not the military, but the Navy, and how they honor everything. And then you go and you smell the oranges, and then you see the LA traffic, and you're like, awesome. And then and I just think it's really great. And I think they needed to update maybe the ending, because it was the Christmas scene. So
from 20 years ago,
way back when. That's all they needed to update was the ending, and I would have been so stoked. But then they did it to the world, and I'm like, that should have stayed in Epcot. You keep it. We don't want it.
Tyler, are you a Soarin' Over the World guy or a California guy?
Definitely a California guy. I think that World is just kind of bad. I don't enjoy riding it. It's even the things for those that don't know, the Taj Mahal, things like that, completely CG, not even a real environment. And when you're telling me the whole point of this attraction is to admire kind of the beauty and the wonder of kind of these, not only just natural formations of land, but also downtown LA, for example, it should have all been real. If they couldn't fly over the Taj Mahal, they shouldn't have put the Taj Mahal in the dang movie. It's the same. There's a couple other segments in that too, but it's just it just takes away so much when you have whales splashing water in your face and stuff, and you're just it's just, what are you doing? I think they lost sight of what made that ride so impressive to begin with, and they just went too far in the way of production. They were just well, we need to produce something amazing then, because everybody loves this ride so much. And I think if they went simpler, it would have been better. And not to mention, the leaning tower of the Eiffel Tower.
The
how
Flex Tower.
Yeah, if you're sitting off to the left or the right, the Eiffel Tower looks like it's leaning.
Yeah.
And somebody should have figured that out, and they should have not had that be the finale to their dang ride. I mean, it's just so many missteps. The smells aren't as good. Anyway, so I'm just dumping on that, but really, I really just wish that Soarin' Over California was just here to stay forever.
They should have just updated maybe a couple of the shots in California and keep it.
And the reason they do this is because they know that World is a failure, and they know that it's not as good as the original, and they know that people want the original back, but they can't admit it.
Yeah.
If they were to say, "Oh yeah, okay, just so you guys know, Soarin' Over California back for good,"
right,
that would be admitting defeat, and they're not going to do that. So
because they also brought it back last summer for a limited run as well.
And then they did an AP thing where after park close, you had an hour or something to go write it for only AP holders. And so, okay, well then you kind of Tyler's right. You failed.
Yeah.
You kind of on it, They're desperate because they know the AP love it. And I enjoy it. I would go ride it if it was Soarin' Over California.
Yeah. And the interesting thing to me too is that I feel if they continued to play Soarin' Over California, it would increase the value of not only California Adventure, but also of Epcot, because now you have two different attractions. Like,
Right.
why would you want the same attraction in both places? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me personally. I would think that you would want there to be differences between your parks so that you would have guests want to go.
Something more exclusive for
Yeah.
each location.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it would be great too, because if they did reshoot a couple of things and make it like a little bit newer and not cheesy and actually make it real, like, you know, the traffic, the LA traffic scene kind of needs to be updated.
Yeah.
It's a little wonky. But if they just updated like a couple little shots, I'm sure everybody would be super stoked and would like pile in to go see the new stuff, you
Yep.
know? And then they would want to see Soarin' Over the World, go to Epcot, you know, and then keep California the way it is. Because I don't know, I just love that ride so much. And the smells are amazing. And California is just a really cool state. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
love California.
Yeah, it's a shame that a ride that had so much potential, a retheme that had so much potential for a ride, kind of fell flat. And you're absolutely right, Taylor, when it comes to like the CGI, like the Taj Mahal and stuff, it's like, what was the point of that? You know, like if you wanted to show it, great. I understand you probably can't get flight permits to go over the Taj Mahal or something,
Sure.
but then why put it in there as a computer-generated image?
There's so many other monuments they could have flown by.
Absolutely.
What I would say is that there was no ride at California Adventure like more immersive than Soarin' Over California. And when you put in CG animals and CG people and CG environments, the entire thing is CG, it takes you out of the immersion. I see the people walk. They don't. That's not how people walk. People don't walk like that. And that's all I can look at. All I can look at is this person's feet not moving like naturally. I'm getting like really angry about it.
I know. I'm like, whoa.
Fire you up.
But it's just whoever was in charge of it really just again took all the wrong things away from what made Soarin' Over California so great.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Here,
Yes,
here.
it is. Well, good news to have it back at least for a limited run. Moving on here, FastPass is making its way into the Disneyland Resort for 2 additional attractions. It looks like the Disneyland Resort has announced that they will be adding FastPass service to Autopia at Disneyland, and then Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue at California Adventure. Both attractions are also going to be available on Disney Max Pass. I think, obviously, at least to me, it seems obvious that this is being done as a way to kind of spread the wealth when it comes to, you know, Fast Pass reservations and the Max Pass system. Would you ever spend a Fast Pass on Monsters, Inc. or Autopia?
I would.
Yeah.
Maybe like Mike and Sully, because like the last time we wanted to go ride it last weekend, it was like a 25-minute wait, and we're like,
Yeah.
okay, you know. So yeah, I probably would have gotten a fast pass for it.
Yeah, that's my thing is like we have Max Pass on our annual passes. So for me, if you're doing Max Pass, I think it's great because now we can just look at the app and hey, if it's boarding right now, then let's go ride it right now.
Sure.
I think that sounds fun. And like we never do Autopia, and even like you said, we were about to do Mike and Sully, and then we backed out when we saw that it was a 25-minute line. So if I can see if I look at my phone and it says
Sure.
get on the ride right now, then maybe we'll go on Autopia more often. I do think for the regular guest, it kind of sucks because now it's going to be if you don't have Max Pass or if you don't get a Fast Pass for it, then you're going to be kind of waiting in a longer line. You know what I mean? But they used to have Fast Pass for Autopia.
Yeah.
So it's really not.
It's coming back,
It's just
right.
coming back for that attraction. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think they need to just make sure that they limit how many passes they give out so that the lines don't get incredibly crazy. But yeah, maybe we'll do Autopia more often or something because I don't want to wait in line for Autopia. But if I could just walk right on it,
Sure,
maybe.
why not?
Yeah, in a way, it's spreading out the Fast Pass masses to try and push people into other corners. And then at the same time, as you had mentioned, when it comes to traditional lines, that's going to skyrocket because Fast Pass has been added. So interesting to see that change has now been made. And moving right along here, it looks like when the first quarter earnings call happened earlier this week for the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger mentioned that attendance is up 2% at domestic parks. Guest spending is up 10% based on higher average ticket prices and plus increased spending on food. food and merchandise. Bob Iger said that Disney is thrilled by the overwhelming response to Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, quote, a great success. Thoughts?
He's a really good liar.
Can we get crickets, please? That one too.
There you go.
There we go. I think what he's saying is like a huge fabricated lie. I don't know. It's just like very, whoa,
goodness.
what is happening over here? Yeah, of course you're going to make revenue because you just open up a land and you charge like how much for lightsabers and droids and stuff?
Yeah.
So of course you're going to make money, but is it going to be the same next year?
Right.
My favorite thing that people on Twitter have been doing in this kind of day and age is like posting a picture of a very crowded Galaxy's Edge and then saying like, I thought you all said this was a disaster, it was a failure or something, and it's like, okay, so you took one picture of a crowded land and you're gonna tell me that means that they didn't fail? Like, not really. I hate to tell everybody this, but their projections for this place were incredibly massive. I mean, they created whole entire new systems around their FastPass just to make sure that, you know, people could get into the land in a fair manner. They didn't even end up using it ever. Like, they didn't even, not even once did they have they ever had to use this whole entire system that they put in place to make sure that people could get into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And you know what? Is it a failure? No, it's not a failure. It's making them money. But is it what they projected? Not at all. And so anybody who is going to get on their little high horse about, I thought you guys said it was a failure. Listen, they're making money, but
Right.
it's not the money they hoped for.
Yeah.
It really
Like,
isn't.
how many droids, how many lightsabers can you possibly make? Like, I get it. If I was a huge Star Wars fan and they created like a new lightsaber that you can go buy for $100 or something, okay, yeah. If I would probably go buy it and then create like a cool like rainbow thing in my room and like all my lightsabers stacked up. But that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the droids, how many droids can we possibly have? You know, like we have a couple, and it's just like we've like played with it for a couple times, and then we're like, okay, well,
Back on the mantle.
I know.
get over there, and then that was it. And like, so again, and then, you know, I don't know. Of course, it's gonna look nice on the first quarter revenue, but then in the end, it's just kind of like, if you look at it now, if I like talk to the people that went the first, you know, time and bought like tons of lightsabers, would they buy another lightsaber? Probably not.
Right.
They would maybe like go buy a Ronto wrap, maybe, and go grab like breakfast or something as they go ride Rise of the Resistance. But
Which, by the way, I had my first Ronto wrap this past week.
was it
Oh, yeah?
good?
Oh my God.
Breakfast
really
or
good?
regular?
Regular. I didn't know what I was missing until I had it. Oh my goodness.
Egg.
I keep hearing that, and I haven't tried one either. And I
So
feel like
good.
I need to. I'm not normally a big sausage guy, but
I tried both.
Yeah,
The veggie option
the veggie one too.
and then
Oh,
the
okay.
sausage one. Both spectacular. So I get why
the
people are
veggie one.
buying them.
I need to try. I need
Yeah.
to try it.
I need to
'cause
try.
I do. I you know, they have these like at Animal Kingdom. They in the Harambe Marketplace. They have these like they're basically corn dogs, but they have like like an African sausage in the middle of it instead. And I thought I would hate it, and I tried it, and I was like, this is amazing. So
What makes sausage African? What's in it?
well,
What
I
is-
think it was the spices.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
is it a different type of animal found only in Africa?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, it's like a traditional African spices and.
Oh, I feel
and-
better. Okay.
Yeah. what did you think they made?
I
it
don't
out of?
know. I was thinking
Caribou or
of,
something?
yeah, I'm thinking like, what's unique to Africa? What creature would they possibly turn into sausage there?
Oh my
So,
goodness.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
But anyway, I didn't think I would like that, and I tried it and I did. So I think I think I need to give this a try.
Totally worth it.
It is like a Portuguese sausage, right? That's what I thought I've heard. Did I make that
As
up?
I understand it, yes. And then the price point on it, a little much. It's like $12.99 or something like
Sure.
that. So it's a bit much for what you're getting. But as a standalone, I suppose we can call it a meal snack. I mean, I got 2 of them and filled me up. But I think it's worth at least a try. I think I'd go back to it every once in a while. But certainly, I don't think I'd make a make it a very common stop
Sure.
just because of
It's
the
like
price.
Bengal barbecue or something. If you're like, it's in your thought or your mind, you'd be like, I might as well just go do it. And then
Yeah.
I'm sure on like this recent quarter, they'll probably be like, oh, we spiked in revenue again because they started selling sporks. So, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to fabricate that too, make it sound like they're doing huge revenues because of Rise of the Resistance. And this is a great ride. So I don't know. They just need to like change it up a little bit to make people want to come back. So that's all I ask. And like, bringing out more droids. Like we saw R2-D2, which was really neat, and Galaxy's Edge, and it kind of made it feel a lot more alive, but then there was just like massive crowds,
Yeah,
so it was really hard to
everybody swallowing
maneuver.
and, yeah.
And so like if they brought new things, I think that this land can be profitable and actually
What they said it was
be
going
a
to
success,
be.
you know, and like create new shows or something to have people come out and do new things. So I just hope that it works. I don't know. Yeah.
I would guess, this is 100% guess, that they have all these things written out. They have shows written out. They have everything ready to go.
Yeah.
And they just aren't doing it because, first of all, like we were saying earlier, they thought they were going to have much more crowds than they actually are getting. And then second of all, I think they decided like, hey, if we need a parachute, we can keep this, in our back pocket. And so when we need to start getting people back into Galaxy's Edge, just introduce a new type of entertainment, and then more people start coming back.
A new color droid.
They will do. I
I'm in.
guarantee you that'll
Sold.
happen.
I mean,
I know that's going to happen someday. But they have to do something. I don't know. The place just feels so empty to me. I don't know how to
You
say
say,
it.
first quarter earnings are up here. Well, what does the second quarter bring? What does the third quarter bring? I mean, after the initial buzz of Rise of the Resistance wears off, things are right back to where they were. And so you can't fake that for too long.
Yeah.
And my concern here is also that they're sort of building this idea around like, spending is up. Well, that's because you keep raising the prices on everything, and so obviously spending is up. And in addition to that, it looks like in Walt Disney World, they had even highlighted in the report that occupancy rates at the hotels are at like a record high right now. Why do you think that is? Like, because all those people aren't in the parks.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I mean, just
like
conventions?
Conventions
Yeah?
or something. Like, I know Grand Destino is a convention hotel now, so I'm sure they just do like a lot more conventions. And then, I mean, maybe people would like, want to just go visit Disney World for a couple days or, I don't know. Sometimes their prices are not that bad, especially because they're trying to push like annual pass holder rates and stuff for people to stay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like more and more people are also going to Disney World, not like thinking like the only thing to do there is the theme parks, right? Like
It's a big place.
It's a lot of eating
I think
to do.
I think more and more people are going there and treating it like some type of inclusive resort, without the inclusivity, of course, but but that's the way people like to live their life when they go there now. I feel like it's becoming more and more like that, where you're going not just for Small World, but you're going also just for all the restaurants and all the entertainment too. So
I mean, Disney Springs is like a full day thing to go shopping, to go eat, and then you just want to keep coming back because there's so many things to eat there or just to go look at.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then they just opened up City Works. So now there's like a new thing that everybody wants to go check out. So and then they try to like open up new bars and like it's just like a cool. I think it's like more for like the millennial crowd,
Sure.
to kind of go wander around and enjoy your hotel and actually what you paid for instead of like spending all day in the parks. You kind of like split it up a little bit.
yeah, if you really look at what they've been doing in World, they've really been focusing more on people our age than kids even, I think.
they know.
Yeah. And like it's getting to the point where most of the things that they announce and build and everything are really geared towards adults.
Yeah.
Like
Childless millennials.
yeah, exactly.
Childless millennials. That's right.
Take that, Karen.
Yeah. No, and I definitely, going back to the whole idea of sort of occupancy at an all-time high, I think that a lot of that has to do also with like the deep discounts every year now. I mean, there's just one discount after another when it comes to room stays at the resort. And then on top of that, cast member rates are like half off, sometimes 60% off to drive more and more cast members from across the country into those empty
That's
rooms.
a heck of a rate.
Yeah, spectacular.
I mean, 50% off.
Yeah, right. Totally
I would-
worth it.
Oh yeah, like I would go plan like a week or something to go over there and just chillax at a really cool hotel and just enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's got to be like other reasons. Like I mean, I'm sure, and a lot of people would rather go to Disney World than Disneyland because it's more bang for your buck for international travel.
A lot more. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of probably the reason why too. And then Star Wars is another kind of issue, like not issue, but like reason that people want to go see it because they don't know what it's like, and then they go there and they're like, ugh, Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. Yeah.
don't.
Please. Well, that's the news for this week. Stick around.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.